Hi Jessica, how are you?
Good. How are you?
I'm good, thank you. It's so nice to see you again. How have things been going?
Things have been pretty good. My classes are going pretty well, except they're having kind of a hard time in math. I'm kind of struggling. The chapters are getting a little bit harder. So yeah, my grades have been dropping pretty low. My test scores and quizzes. But yeah, so my test scores and quizzes have been coming back pretty bad. Which I'm kind of surprised because I thought I was doing good, but I guess I'm just not really understanding much of the chapters and stuff, and maybe I'm just not taking that good of notes. I don't really know what to do.
I did notice that your math grade was slipping a little bit. It seems to me though that that's the only class that you're falling behind in. Do you feel the same way? Because it seems like you're doing really well in science, English, and your history, and your extracurriculars are fine. It's just math. So I'm trying to figure out, what are you doing differently now that you used to do that isn't happening currently? Did you used to have better study habits? Did you have a schedule that you've maybe fallen off of the schedule? Or I want to know what you used to do that you're maybe not doing now. Has something changed in your, even outside of school, has something changed in your life where you're just kind of running behind on it? Does that make sense?
Yeah.
What do you think?
I think maybe I'm a little bit busier now, with softball.
Okay.
I haven't really had a lot of time, or I used to spend more time studying. So I think that's why.
Okay, that makes sense. I know it's so important for you to, I know you're looking at colleges right now, it's so important for you to do really well. So I want to figure out what we can do to help you, and I'm going to help you with this. You're not alone. So math is definitely a struggle for many. It's not just you. But it's so important for your transcripts. When we send these transcripts to the colleges of your choice, they're going to look at it. And if they see that the first semester you did so great and then the second semester you didn't, they're going to wonder what is inconsistent about Jessica's life where she's not doing so great in the subject anymore, because they want the best. And you know that. The colleges, they're very competitive. They want the best and only the best. So it's, even if you don't get an A, it's just if you start with a B and you end with a B, it's consistency and it's the fact that you're understanding the subject, and that's what's the most important. And that's that skill of the math, it's going to carry with you through your college years. So, if you kind of stop the studying now, it's not a good time to break the habits, because the homework, it's only going to increase, the papers, the writing, the reading, it's going to increase by a lot when you do get to college. So this is the best time to continue and to also learn new ways of studying that work for you, because the same ways, they don't work for everyone. They don't work for your friends. Everyone is so different. So some people can leave school, go straight home and sit down and do all their homework and knock it out. And some people are the type that they want to go home and then they want to take a nap and watch some TV. And then at 9 o'clock or 10 o'clock at night, that's their best time to start studying, and that's fine. I'm not going to tell you when to study or do your homework, because it's up to you, and you only you know is when it's best for you. So does that make sense?
Yeah.
Okay. So I want to help you find a good habit, a good pattern for you. So can you tell me what has worked for you in the past in terms of study habits, and what you did that worked?
Well, I used to have study groups.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. And that that really helped for me. I used to pair up with someone in my class, or someone that one of my friends. We were in different classes, but we'd have the same homework and stuff, so we'd pair up and like go to each other's houses or like go to like a Starbucks and like study together.
Great.
And sometimes she would like, she has a tutor, so sometimes like her tutor would come and tutor both of us, which helped like if it was a hard chapter.
And what subject was that for? Was that for math? Okay, and it worked for you?
Yeah.
So is that something that you've stopped doing recently?
Yeah, just because I've been like kind of busy and overwhelmed.
Okay, and I get it. I know we're all so busy. There's so much going on. There's so much to do. So it's kind of hard sometimes to just sit down and do what we have to do in terms of school. There's a lot of work, I know. So do you think it would be possible for you to maybe contact this friend or even a different friend and maybe talk to some other students that you know and see who would be interested in maybe creating a study group?
Yeah, I can talk to one of my friends in my class.
Okay.
I can probably do that.
I think it's worked for you in the past, so I think it might be really good for you to try that again. So next time I see you, I want to touch base on that because I think that'll be really great for you. Yeah. You know that it's so important to keep your grades up right now. There's no room to really fall behind, and I know that you can do it. Like, you've been doing so great. 9th grade, 10th grade, even like the first semester of 11th grade, you did so well in math. So just because you're getting a little bit busier, this is just the time to find a new schedule of doing things. Yeah. You know? Also, I wanted to mention, not this year, probably next year, you're gonna have to take a math entrance exam. It basically is a placement. It places you into, it tells the college which class to place you into, basically. Because coming out of high school, we all, you know, all the students have pretty much taken the same classes in terms of math and English for the most part. So they want to know, where do you stand? Did you understand it? Did you not understand it? Do you remember it? So you're going to have to take this test, and it's, you know, it's not that hard, but it could be for some. But it's so important to continuously study the things that you've learned even in like 10th grade and 9th grade, you know? Yeah. You don't want to forget it. It's really important, and I don't want you to just kind of forget about it and then have to take the placement exam and then fall really behind, like really low. Because then, do you know what that means? Basically, when they do place you, you're going to start so far back that it's going to take you that much more time to get up to the current math that actually counts towards your degree. Right. Which I believe is algebra is usually the beginning, algebra 1. But there's like lower algebras. They basically like simplify it for you, and it's basically just like 2 other classes. So it's like, why waste your time with these 2 other classes just because you kind of didn't brush up on the math, you know? Yeah. So if you can just get that set in your mind and you remember that, you'll, you know, in your study group, you'll probably find it a lot easier to study, and you'll have like that motivation, like, oh, you know, you don't want to, I'm pretty sure you don't want to be in those extra classes, right?
No, I don't.
Yeah, and honestly, even if you do, it's okay, because you'll just have more practice and better practice at it, you know, and you'll be that much better at it, but it will set you back a class or 2, so just keep that in mind. I wanted to ask you also, when you plan on taking your ACT test?
Oh, I didn't sign up for that yet.
Okay.
I don't know much about it.
Okay, so the ACT is another test along with the SAT. Are you familiar with? I know you're familiar with the SAT. Yeah. Because I know I've talked to you about it before. So the ACT and the SAT, they're both tests that you take.
Are they mandatory?
They are not mandatory, no. But for the colleges that you were interested in, they are required. Not every college requires them, but I know the ones that we talked about last time that you're interested in, that they are required for the admission process. And the test scores are so important. It's one of the things that determines if they accept you or not, along with your grades and your, you know, who you are and your letters of recommendation and things like that. So I want you to think about taking them. I know you're going to take them in the future, but you have right now at your stage in 11th grade, you have all of this year left and next year to even do better on them. So let's say you take it for the first time, like let's say this summer or this spring, let's say you score 1,500. The second time you take it, you might score an 1,800. Do you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So you're just gonna get better at it. It's more practice. They are costly. I know we were talking about like the finances, and you were a little bit stressed out last time I had seen you in regards to like college applications and the scholarships and things like that. So I mean they do cost, but you know there's waivers for it. I told you can always come and see me regarding the waivers and see if you qualify. So the SAT is usually required, definitely. The ACT is sometimes not required. We'd have to look more into it, into the schools that you apply to. But they're pretty much the same test.
Do you think I should take both just to like be safe?
I do. I do think you should. I think it would be better for you. Most students right now that I've been talking to that are in the same place as you, they are signing up eventually to take both. We have a few students that have already taken it, and I actually wanted to get a group together with those students that have already taken it. There's just a select few, and I wanted to get a little group together with those students to talk to students like you who are going to take it soon, or very, very soon, or eventually. And you guys can just ask your questions. You know, like, what did you think about it? Was it hard? You know, just things that I can't really answer in terms of the tests because I haven't taken it recently, obviously. So do you think that would help? Would you be interested in coming to like a group session like that?
Yeah, that would really help, I think.
Okay, great. Then I'll definitely try to like take some notes on this and try to get it together. Maybe we can do this next week. Would you be able to come at lunch?
Yeah,
during lunch?
Fine.
Okay, I'll talk to the other students and see. I think that'd be really helpful because there are a few students. I was actually surprised that they had already taken the SAT and the ACT. So I think it would actually be really helpful.
And you can take it like multiple times, right?
Yes, you can take it multiple times, which is the best. So it's not too stressful, but just so you know, I believe you do have to take it on, I think it's usually on Saturdays. It's usually Saturday mornings, pretty early, but students study for a very long time to do well on these tests. And because of how important they are, you know, some students really stress out about them, and I don't want you to stress out about them because you can take them several times. It's just a test. I know it's going to determine your future and if you get into college and where your college of choice and where you want to go, but it is just a test. That's all it is. And there's still so many other things that you bring to the table to these colleges that the SAT can't determine about you. So
I was thinking about like maybe getting a tutor for it,
and I think that would be a great idea. I can actually recommend some that I know of, some people that I know that tutor. They actually do it at the local community college, so it's free of charge. They just do it through the college. They're hired through the college to offer tutoring services for students.